Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to expand Gaza operations in the coming days, says war isn't close to finished. Japan to impose sanctions on 3 senior Hamas members. On a visit to Moscow, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar discusses connectivity, multilateralism, regional conflicts with leading representatives of Russian strategic community. Indian Navy deploys major warship to counter attacks in Arabian Sea. MV Camp Pluto arrives in Mumbai. Navy says debris points to drone attack. Joint probe underway. And in cricket, India to play its first test in 5 months against South Africa at Centurion on Tuesday. Let's start the bulletin with the latest updates from Israel-Hamas conflict. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue fighting against terror group Hamas until the end. Netanyahu, accompanied by Deputy Chief of Staff Major General Amir Baram, spoke with soldiers and commanders in northern Gaza on Monday. Interacting with soldiers, Netanyahu said the war was far from over and dismissed what he cast as media speculation that his government might call a halt to the fighting.
Whoever talks about stopping, there is no such thing. We are not stopping. The war will continue until the end. October 7th is not over. It is not over. We have to make sure that it never happens again. This requires what each and every one of you is asking for, just to continue until the end. Until the end. And I'm just proud of your determination. It's not easy. On the other hand, it is easy. Simply to continue to the end. I salute you like this.
Israel's Ministry of Defense, Yoav Gallant, held a situation assessment in the IDF's Northern Command, where he was briefed on operational activities conducted along the border in order to defend the area, and also thwart Hezbollah operatives and harm the terrorist organization's assets. Minister Gallant expressed his appreciation to the head of Northern Command and senior officers for their action, and emphasized that these will continue until the residents of northern Israel return to their homes once the security situation changes in the border area. He also said Israel does not want this to happen. However, Israel, he said, will do what is necessary so the thousands of Israelis evacuated from near the border with Lebanon will be able to return home. The families of Hamas hostages gathered at the main gate of the Israeli Defense Ministry complex in Tel Aviv on Monday, waiting for security cabinet ministers in the hope of stopping their vehicles and pleading with them for help for their loved ones. The protesters laid out hourglasses, inferring that time is running out for each of the hostages still in Hamas's captivity. Israeli agency Kogat reported that 218 trucks loaded with humanitarian aid for the people of Gaza were inspected and transferred to the Gaza Strip on Monday. Of these, 142 trucks were inspected at the Nitzana crossing and transferred to Gaza via the Rafah crossing in Egyptian territory. 76 of the trucks were inspected and transferred to Gaza via the recently opened Karam Shalom crossing, which is located in the corner where the Egyptian, Israeli and Gazan borders meet. Kogat also reported that 80,000 vaccines for measles, mumps and rubella donated by UNICEF arrived in the Gaza Strip on Sunday. Hitting on the terror group Hamas, the Japanese government will freeze assets and impose sanctions on payments and capital transactions on 3 senior Hamas members. According to a Japanese government spokesperson, the 3 individuals were believed to be involved in the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel and in a position to use funds to finance such terrorist activities. Meanwhile, an Israeli airstrike outside the Syrian capital Damascus on Monday killed a senior advisor in Iran's Revolutionary Guards. According to sources, the advisor, known as Saeed Razi Musavi, was responsible for coordinating the military alliance between Syria and Iran. Iran's state television interrupted its regular news broadcast to announce that Musavi had been killed, describing him as one of the Guard's oldest advisors in Syria. It said he had been among those accompanying Qasem Soleimani, the head of Guard's elite Quds force, which was killed, who was killed in a US drone attack in Iraq in 2020. The Israeli army found a car and a pickup truck belonging to one of the hostages taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack at northern Gaza's Indonesian hospital. A white Toyota Corolla was seen parked in a shed near the Indonesian hospital in Gaza, which was claimed to have been used during the Hamas attack. The Israeli military says that the car belonged to Samar, one of the 3 hostages shot dead mistakenly by Israeli soldiers during combat operations in Gaza. The videos were taken at the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza, which the Israeli army claims had infrastructure used by Hamas. Turkey intensified its airstrikes against Kurdish groups in Syria and northern Iraq in retaliation for the deaths of 12 Turkish soldiers in Iraq over the weekend. The Turkish Defense Ministry said in a statement late on Monday that it had killed at least 26 militants in the strikes. Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces say in the northeast Syria at least 8 civilians were killed in Turkish airstrikes on Monday, including 2 women. Turkey has carried out 128 strikes in northeast Syria in 2023, killing 94 people, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The US military carried out retaliatory airstrikes on Monday in Iraq after a one-way drone attack earlier in the day by Iran-aligned militants that left 1 US service member in critical condition and wounded 2 other US personnel. The back-and-forth clash was the latest demonstration of how the Israel-Hamas conflict is rippling across the Middle East, creating turmoil that has turned US troops at bases in Iraq and Syria into targets. Iran-aligned groups in Iraq and Syria oppose Israel's campaign in Gaza and hold the United States partly responsible. The White House National Security Council said that Biden was briefed on the attack on Monday and ordered the Pentagon to prepare response options against those responsible. Let's get you updates from Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Ukraine carried out an air attack on Feodosia in Crimea, Ukraine's Air Force commander said on Tuesday, after the Russian-installed governor of Crimea said that the assault sparked a fire in the town's port area. Footage posted on several Russian news outlets on Telegram showed powerful explosions and fires over a port area. Both Russia and Ukraine have in fact often exaggerated the losses they claim to have inflicted upon each other in the 22-month-long war, while underestimating their own casualty and equipment losses. There were no immediate official information from Russia. Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in a broadly condemned move in 2014. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu told President Vladimir Putin that Russian forces have gained full control of Marinka, a town in eastern Ukraine, one of Russia's most significant gains since the capture of Bakhmut in May. Most accounts of Marinka, southwest of Russian-held regional center of Donetsk, describe it as a ghost town. Putin said control of the town, which was once home to 10,000 people, will allow the Russian forces to move towards the enemy combat units away from Donetsk. Russia's last major success on the battlefield was the capture in May of Bakhmut, theater of some bloodiest fighting. Ukraine launched a counter-offensive in June aimed at retaking land in the country's south and east, including Bakhmut. Meanwhile, a text of a draft law posted on the website of Ukraine's parliament late on Monday proposed lowering the age of those who can be mobilized for combat duty to 25 from 27. The draft text detailed which Ukrainian citizens would be subject to enrollment for military registration of the conscripts and said that it would apply to those who have reached the age of 25. The proposed change comes as Ukraine's 22-month-old battle against Russia drags on. On Sunday, Ukraine and Russia exchanged claims over downed military aircraft, and on Monday, Ukraine denied Russia's claim that its forces had seized the regional center Marinka in eastern Ukraine. An explanatory note signed by Defense Minister summarized the key provisions of the draft law, saying they included the change of conscription age from 27 to 25 years. President Volodymyr Zelensky told his end-of-the-year news conference on December 19th that the military had proposed mobilizing 450,000 to 500,000 more Ukrainians, but that it was a highly sensitive issue that the military and government would discuss before deciding whether to send the proposal to Parliament. Ukraine's government has proposed to Parliament terminating a free trade agreement with Belarus. Ukraine's cabinet minister has said the move to cancel the agreement was taken in connection with a fundamental change of circumstances, involvement of the Republic of Belarus in the illegal use of force against Ukraine. The government proposes terminating the free trade agreement of December 1992 and the two protocols related to the treaty. After Russia's invasion, Ukraine suspended its relations with Minsk. Under Ukrainian law, interstate agreement must be terminated by Parliament after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Belarus remained one of Ukraine's main trading partners, supplying significant amount of fuel and fertilizers to Kyiv. Moving on, in Serbia, several thousand people gathered in front of the Central Election Commission building in Belgrade to protest over an election earlier this month that international monitors said was unfair. The protesters marched to the main police station where they believed those detained by police were being held. Police said 38 people had been detained during and after an opposition protest over election results. The opposition parties accused police of excessive force and of policemen beating up men in streets near the town hall. Serbia's ally Russia said foreign-backed forces were trying to foment trouble. Serbia has resisted pressure from Western countries to introduce sanctions against Russia. The Kremlin also said that foreign-backed forces were trying to foment unrest in Serbia over parliamentary and local elections. This comes after thousands gathered in the center of Belgrade in an anti-government protest to demand the annulment of elections a week ago that international observers noticed were unfair.
Besides, there are obvious processes and attempts of third-party forces, including foreign-backed forces, to provoke unrest in Belgrade. That is what we see. We have no doubt authorities of Republic will provide legitimacy in the country.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has been tracked down to a penal colony north of the Arctic Circle after supporters lost touch with him for more than 2 weeks. Navalny spokeswoman Kira Yarmish said Navalny was now in the IK3 penal colony in Karp in the Yamal-Nenets region. Yarmish said that it will now be even harder for lawyers to meet him in his new home, known as the Polar Wolf Colony, considered to be one of the toughest prisons in Russia. Moving on to Africa now, in a well-coordinated attack during the weekend, armed groups in Nigeria, around 113 people have been reported dead. In the worst outbreak since May this year, the death toll, which was 16 till Sunday, has crossed 100 now, according to the local official. In a series of attacks throughout the country, the immediate cause is yet to be ascertained, but the major reason is the persisting religious and ethnic tensions. Official figures claim more than 300 people are injured in a planned attack that had targeted more than 20 communities across the region. Vote counting continues in the Democratic Republic of Congo after episodes of irregularity were reported in the general elections held on December 20th. Some 44 million voters in the DRC were registered to elect a new president. Members of the National Assembly and provincial assemblies, as well as municipal councillors on December 20th. But the Independent National Electoral Commission, the electoral body, extended the polling, acknowledging that some polling stations failed to open due to logistics problems that led to major balloting delays across the country. Full provisional election results are expected on December 31st. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Thailand's court hears petition filed against Move Forward Party and its former leader Pitha Limja Ronrat. We will give you an update on weather from across the world. Festivities in the air. We'll show you glimpses of Christmas celebrations around many places.
Swagatam to Andhra Pradesh, the coastal jewel of India. A state steeped in history. From the Gandi Kota Fort to the majestic Gondapalli Fort. A region known as the Rice Bowl of India. A holy land with rivers Krishna and Godavari flowing through it. Every part of this land tells a story of culture and devotion. And of a modern, developed, vibrant India. The graceful Kuchipudi and exuberant Dhimsa showcase the artistic brilliance of this land. The Ikkat and Kalamkari speak of the talent of artisans and their skilled hands. A cultural concoction that unites people in the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti. Adding another pride in nation's roots, Indian Navy is all set to commission its latest stealth guided missile destroyer, Imphal, at the naval dockyard in the western part of the country, Mumbai. Imphal is a cutting-edge warship designed by Indian Navy's Warship Design Bureau and constructed by Mazagon Dock Limited. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will grace the ceremony. We're joined in by our correspondent Shama Mishra from Mumbai for more updates. Shama, we've just given a broad outline of warship Imphal and also the visuals there, tell us everything. You spell out more details, how far it will further strengthen the Indian Navy, because we tell our viewers this is the latest stealth guided missile destroyer.
Well, Preeti, this is the third of the project 15 Bravo, and we've already seen Visakhapatnam, INS Visakhapatnam, INS Mormugao have been inducted into Indian Navy last year and last year respectively. And each year we are seeing that the Indian Navy is getting this gift and the nation is getting this gift, and Indian Navy along with the nation is getting strengthened further. Because we understand you've already given the details of this ship, but INS Imphal is first, unprecedented in many ways because, first of all, it's a stealth-guided missile ship, and it's taken the shortest time from laying of the keel to getting delivered to Indian Navy. This is the shortest time of any warship. So this is first of its kind. Another unprecedented aspect of this particular ship is that BrahMos, the missile which is already fitted into this ship, has been tested. This fire has been tested before its commissioning. So this is first before commissioning of any indigenously built warship. Another first of its kind is that, we understand that through Agniveers, there are more women sailors, women officers getting inducted into Indian Navy. And with that, we also need to understand that women would be playing more roles into combat roles. So for that, you also need to have those specific accommodation places to properly stay. So in INS Imphal is also having that particular mess where the sailors or the women officers would be staying. So that is also totally dedicated, and currently this particular capacity is of 20, and once this number enhances, other messes or the accommodation units would also be or can also be converted into dedicated women sailors or officers accommodation. We understand, this is loaded with missiles, loaded with supersonic, loaded with, it can undertake surface to surface, surface to air, and surface to water. So all three aspects of the fighting is covered in this. The indigenously built capacity in this is the highest. We understand that Project 15B is having this capacity. So 72 to 75% is the percentage of indigenously built component in this particular ship. So we are working towards, we are moving towards achieving this Atmanirbhar Bharat ambition, and this is self-reliant, and more technology, more and more building of the ship is getting indigenized, and that is why we understand that each year the time of this, the duration of from keel laying to delivery is getting shorter and shorter. So Indian Navy's strength is further strengthened with the commissioning of INS Imphal, and we understand that this is, nothing can be better than this for a New Year's gift. Preeti.
All right, Shama, now you've talked of how this is a true example of Make in India, and it will, further strengthen the ambition of the country towards self-reliance. This is not for the first time that indigenously built, warships or something of this kind is being commissioned. Let us get more from you. Where are we standing with regard to India's ambition of self-reliance? Because we've seen indigenously built aircraft also, part of Indian Air Force, and here we have Indian Navy also with such, with such indigenously built warships. Let us understand more from you. When we talk of India's journey towards self-reliance and Atmanirbharta, how far have we come?
We've come a long way, and earlier when I'm talking about that this particular ship is delivered in the shortest period, that is around 7 years, 6 to 7 years. And earlier we used to see that the duration of getting delivered was anywhere above 12 years. So that is one big change that we've seen. About indigenously the building or the technology that we have more and more number of shipyards being informed, and now we understand that Mazgaon Dock Limited or Goa Shipyard or Kochi Shipyard, these are one of those, we could say the most, powerful houses that are building these war machines. They are building the submarines, and they are delivering it to Indian Navy, each year. And if you are seeing this particular pattern of Project 15B, so it is getting delivered. And apart from that, we have Project 15, we have Project 15 Alpha, and now Project 15B. Apart from that, we also have submarines. You've mentioned about the aircraft indigenously built. The largest ship that we have, the warship INS Vikram Aditya, the component of indigenously built, that is also very high in it. So understanding how it is made, making it, having the raw materials, having the technology, having the know-how, technological know-how, has been progressing in India. that knowledge has been increasing. The skill, the man skill, the manpower is also getting more and more skilled to make it. So that is why a lesser number of duration is happening these days for building of submarines, or if you're talking about the Indian Navy, to submarines, and apart from that, smaller warships are also getting inducted into Indian Navy each year, or in lesser duration. So we understand now we will be seeing that INS Surat ship, the warship, will also be getting inducted soon. So keel laying, then launching of the particular ship or the submarine. From that, the duration to the delivery is really getting shorter,
right.
And that is because the strength of the shipyards, the technological know-how of the shipyards, or the coordination. One of the most important things is the coordination between the shipyards, the Indian Navy, and the other factors are also getting more and more precise, more and more strengthened, and that is why we are seeing this result, that this duration is getting shorter. The component of indigenously built is getting more and more higher. And it is an aim that by 2047, when India becomes 100-year-old from its independence, it will be developed nation, and we will become 100% self-reliant, 100% Atmanirbhar.
All right, so that was a good thought. Shama, let us get more from you on the commissioning ceremony. We tell our viewers that Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be present. Can we get more details?
Yes, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh would be coming, and the timing that we've been told would be around after 12, and this commissioning would begin. And we understand that any ship, any submarine that is being inducted into the Indian Navy, it goes through its traditional ceremonial process. We understand the flags would be put on the ship, and then the ceremonial welcome, the parade, everything will happen once the crest, once it is inaugurated. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, would be going on a round of the warship, and we also understand that there are several compartments in this particular ship. And Preeti, we've been on this in INS Imphal round earlier on 21st, when the media was taken for a curtain raiser round, and we've seen most of the compartments in this particular ship, which we earlier never used to see. So what I was talking about, the part where women officers would be staying, we saw that mess. We also have a woman officer, Sub-Lieutenant Anjali Mohapatra, is the first woman officer to be inducted, to be present for a ceremony, for a commissioning crew. Earlier it has never happened. So Rajnath Singh would be meeting that crew also. Rajnath Singh would be, talking to the crew of INS Imphal. And likewise, they would be getting inspired, the morale would be boosted once the Defence Minister is here, and we understand that this particular whole ceremonial process, or the whole commissioning ceremony, would be one of those events where not just the Indian community, but the entire world would be looking forward to, because we are talking about that Indian Navy is getting strengthened day by day, be it the warship, be it the submarines, be it other smaller
yes,
ships.
Indeed, it will not be.
That is why we are saying that,
it will not be a moment of glory for the Indian Navy, but for the nation as a whole. Thank you so much, Shama. We leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. Let's get you more international updates. Migrants in the south of Mexico made their way through the state of Chiapas after setting off in a US-bound caravan. The group, which included citizens of Central America and the Caribbean, walked on the side of the roads to the town of Huixia. Some carried children in their arms to avoid being left behind. Authorities estimated that the average number of people per day was around 8,000. Top U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Chief Alejandro Mayorkas, will visit Mexico on Wednesday as the Mexican government pledged to help the U.S. cope with record number of people trying to reach the border. Let's shift focus to Asia now. China warned that remnants of a rocket would hit an area in the South China Sea on Tuesday, following the 6th deployment of its most powerful launch vehicle 11 days ago. Rocket debris, which generally burns up in the atmosphere on re-entry, is expected to fall off the coast of China's island province of Hainan. China launched a Long March 5 rocket on December 15th from Hainan's Wenchong launch site. a sixth launch of the rocket type since its first flight in 2016. A variant of the rocket, the Long March 5B, was previously used to launch China's probe to Mars and also modules of its space station. Thailand's Constitutional Court held a hearing to consider a petition filed against the Move Forward Party and its former leader, Pita Limcha Ronrat, claiming that their election pledge to amend Section 112 of the Criminal Code or the lèse-majesté law is tantamount to an attempt to overthrow the country's constitutional monarchy. The petitioner claims that his objective is to prevent the Move Forward Party from trying to amend the lèse-majesté law, which may destabilize the monarchy, adding that if the court rules that his petition is justified and orders the party to stop its attempt to amend the law, it will be the responsibility of the Election Commission to dissolve the party. The next hearing is expected at the end of January or early February. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. A Bavarian town in Germany was flooded on Christmas Day due to heavy rainfall, causing the river Nab to burst its banks. Emergency services secured boats, property and pumping water out of cellars. The river's water level rose above 3 meters and is expected to exceed 4 meters in the evening before receding. Residents in Tehran embraced the Christmas festivities, with many hoping for peace in the world amid various geopolitical conflicts. Although the Christian holiday is not officially celebrated in Iran, the footage showed increase in festive decorations in the predominantly Muslim country. Shops in Tehran and Isfahan city were seen loaded with festive treats, Christmas trees and Santa dolls. In the U.S., Nebraska residents experienced a white Christmas after a winter storm brought freezing rain and snow, causing blizzard conditions from the central South Dakota into the state. The National Weather Service expects wind gusts of 35 miles per hour and additional snowfall of up to an inch, warning residents that snow could reduce visibility and cause road whiteouts. London's top architects are constructing a futurist gingerbread city at the annual 2023 Gingerbread City competition. Over 50 architects, designers and engineers will use cooking ingredients to create a tiny city focusing on water and its use. The event, which runs from January 2nd to December 2nd to January 7th. We're heading for a short break on DD India News Hour, but after the break, adding another feather to its cap, Indian Navy is all set to commission its latest stealth missile, Imphal, today. A temple in southern Indian district of Kozhikode has been selected for UNESCO's Asia Pacific Award for Cultural Heritage Conservation. December 26, 2004 marks unleashing of devastation along the coastlines of 14 nations, including India, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Thailand and Malaysia.
India's huge leaps towards becoming self-reliant in defense sector. Policy changes enabling increased involvement of private sector. From humanitarian assistance to rescue operations. Increased synergy among armed forces through joint military exercises. Watch Echoes 2023, India's Defenders at these times only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you a quick recap of the top stories once again. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to expand Gaza operations in the coming days, says war isn't close to finished. Japan to impose sanctions on 3 senior Hamas members. On a visit to Moscow, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar discusses connectivity, multilateralism, regional conflicts with leading representatives of Russian strategic community. Indian Navy deploys major warships to counter-attack in the Arabian Sea. MV Kem Pluto arrives in Mumbai. Navy says debris points to drone attack. Joint probe underway. And in cricket, India to play its first test in 5 months against South Africa at Centurion on Tuesday. India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who is on a visit to Russia, held a meeting with leading representatives of the Russian strategic community in Moscow on Monday. He spoke about the importance of rebalancing and the emergence of multipolarity, and also discussed connectivity, multilateralism, big power competition and regional conflicts. Keeping India-Russia ties on a positive trajectory, he also highlighted the importance of geopolitics and strategic convergence. MV Camp Pluto, the Liberian-flagged chemical tanker, which sustained damage after a suspected drone attack last week, arrived in Mumbai. The ship had 21 Indians and 1 Vietnamese crew. An Indian Navy spokesperson said that the Indian Navy's explosive ordnance disposal team inspected the vessel and made an assessment of the type and nature of the attack. The Navy said preliminary assessment pointed to a drone attack on the India-bound merchant vessel, which arrived in the Indian city of Mumbai on Monday afternoon. Meanwhile, Indian Navy announced the deployment of guided missile destroyers to maintain a deterrent presence in view of the recent attacks in the Arabian Sea. We're joined in by our correspondent Akshay Dongre for more on this. Akshay, now we know that the initial assessment of the merchant vessel Camp Pluto shows that it was a drone attack. Do we know anything more about further investigations?
Well, the nature of attack has been ascertained as far as the preliminary report is concerned. The Indian Navy, according to a statement, has said that from the initial assessment of the damage that has been caused to MV Camp Pluto, it seems like this was a drone attack. However, the Indian Navy, along with other agencies, will also go for a thorough forensic examination of the damaged site, because there were initial assessments coming in that whether this is a drone attack or a missile attack, because if this is in fact a missile attack, then that points to a larger issue as far as the entire region is concerned. Now, what we have seen in the past few days is hijacking attempts, increased attacks against not just the military but the cargo vessels as well, and that raises a biggest concern for the countries, especially in the region, that how trade and economies will get impacted, because there are certain ships that are now not taking the Red Sea route. They are in fact circumnavigating all through the continent of Africa, taking a much longer route, which will in fact lead to much higher prices of the cargo that will be delivered from one place to another, in fact significantly impacting economies in Asia, in Middle East, even Europe-bound tankers are forced to, many of them are forced to take a longer route because of these kind of threats. However, the Indian-bound tanker that was Liberian flagged MV Pluto was attacked. It was in fact surprising, not just for the Indian government as well as the business community that is operating in the region, because while there are tensions going on, an attack on a ship that was bound for India, that was in fact flagged Liberia, that in fact had Liberia's flag. Why did it come under attack is the biggest question, and who exactly was the culprit behind it? All that has to be investigated. These are preliminary reports that are coming in that are suggesting that it was a drone attack. In fact, the initial assessment also pointed towards a drone attack. However, a more thorough as well as a multi-agency probe can only reveal that what exactly happened and how come the ship came under attack and who exactly is to blame for this.
All right, Akshay, now this was a commercial ship, and also you tell us, though the investigation is still on, but then what do you make of the severity of this incident? How grave was it, given the tense situation in the Arabian Sea?
Well, certainly that is in fact the biggest concern about the issue of trade that passes through this particular region. And in fact, once we look at the volume of the trade, it is significant for the economies across the region. In fact, this channel is significant for economy of the world, and if it comes under such a constant threat of drones attacks, missile attacks, especially that the claims were being made by the Houthis in Yemen, that they are taking actions against, or rather they are attacking Israeli flagged ships or the ships that are that have anything to do with Israel, anything to do with the Israeli government or the Israeli business community. However, these random attacks that are coming across almost any ship that passes through that particular region, especially if it belongs to a country that is not friendly with the Houthis or the Yemeni government, that points to a larger question of the trade getting impacted, trade getting attacked, as far as the other tensions in the region are concerned, which points to a larger problem here that while there is already tension in the region, how this is impacting trade and economy of other countries as well that are in no way related to the ongoing conflict in that particular region, Preeti.
All right, Akshay, we leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. And a charter plane carrying around 300 passengers, primarily Indians, that was grounded in France for 4 days, has finally arrived in the western Indian city of Mumbai. The Nicaragua-bound flight, operated by a Romanian company, was detained at Vatry Airport near France. The plane eventually departed from Vatry Airport around 2:30 p.m. local time and landed in Mumbai shortly after 4 a.m. on Tuesday. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Veer Bal Divas function at Bharat Mandapam in the capital today. On the occasion, Prime Minister will flag off a march past by youth in the national capital. The Veer Bal Divas marks the martyrdom of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji's sons, Sahibzadas Baba Zorawar Singh and Baba Fateh Singh. The Prime Minister last year had announced that 26th of December will be observed as Veer Bal Divas. India's Defence Minister is likely to undertake a day-long visit to northern part of the country, Jammu, on December 27th. During his visit, the Defence Minister will hold a series of meetings with top-ranking army officers at 16 Corps, emphasizing on strategic discussions on national security. The minister will also preside over a security review meeting at Raj Bhavan in Jammu. Meanwhile, Indian Army Chief General Manoj Pandey visited Jammu to review the situation on the ground in Rajouri Poonch sector in the aftermath of recent terror attack. In a recent operation in India's Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have arrested 3 people and seized weapons. Joint interrogation of Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir Police is still going on. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will visit the southern state of Tamil Nadu on Tuesday. The minister will arrive in Thoothukudi district, where she will hold a review meeting with the district administration and visit flood-affected areas to take stock of the rehabilitation so far, as per the program details shared by the minister's office on social media platform X. December 26, 2004, a day etched in the collective memory of nations across Eastern and Southeastern Asia, tragedy struck with unparalleled force. The relentless power of nature manifested in the form of a 30-meter-high tsunami, unleashing devastation along the coastlines of 14 nations. On the 19th anniversary of the devastating 2004 tsunami, fishermen and locals in southern part of India's Tamil Nadu's Kodalur district came together to pay heartfelt tribute to those who lost their lives in the catastrophe. The solemn occasion served as a reminder of the immense tragedy that struck their community and the resilience they have shown in the face of such adversity. The Karnikara Mandapam of Kunamangalam Bhagwati Temple in Kozhikode has been selected for UNESCO's Asia Pacific Award for Cultural Heritage Conservation. The Karnikara Mandapam, that is the semi-open hall, has been reconstructed in recent years without losing its originality, and this is the very reason it has got the UNESCO recognition. The award is for sustainable development for its transformative heritage practices. The 1,100-year-old temple has been renovated according to Tachu Sastra's judgment without losing the heritage. The support of the Archival and Research Project, an organization working for the preservation of the architectural heritage of Kerala, provided major help. Dr. Abida Puthuseri, member of the Temple Management Committee, talks more about the temple and renovation work.
Kozhikode Karunur Kundamangalam Sri Bhagavati Kshetram, about 1,000 years old temple. Recently we got a UNESCO award 2023. This award is mainly for the conservation of the tradition and also the sustainable development. Here the award is for our revival of the Karnikara Mandapam. Normally the Karnikara Mandapam is made with 4 pillars, but here it is very rare. It is made with 16 pillars with a wood called Venga, and here we completed this work within 2.5 months.
And now we take a look at other stories from India that are making it to the headlines. A raging fire engulfed Kulu's Patli Kuhal forest in Himachal Pradesh, as captured in a video depicting towering flames devastating the woodland. Tourists flock Shimla, the state capital on India's hill state, Himachal Pradesh, for Winter Carnival, the city's first ever, running for a week until January 5th. It is aimed at reviving tourism and boosting the charm of Queen of the Hills. Several cities across northern India were shrouded in a thick layer of fog since yesterday. Streets in Srinagar, Amritsar and capital New Delhi had heavily reduced visibility. In an update on social media platform X, the Indian Meteorological Department said the dense fog was likely to persist over parts of northwest and central India over the next 3 to 4 days. Preparations are in the final stage for the inauguration of Ram Temple at Ayodhya in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh ahead of Pran Pratishta Mahotsav, or the Dignity of Life Festival at Ayodhya. Shri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust released photos showing the current status of Shri Ram Janmabhoomi Temple construction work. The grand inauguration is scheduled to take place on January 22nd. With the date of the consecration of much-awaited Ram Mandir approaching close, devotees and artists are exhibiting their devotion and excitement in various ways. Carpenters in Ayodhya carved out a wooden replica of Ram Temple to show their enthusiasm. In yet another event, in a show of dedication and enthusiasm towards Ram Mandir, a vegetable vendor from the capital city of Uttar Pradesh made a world clock that depicts the time of 9 countries simultaneously. He later dedicated the clock to the Ram Mandir Trust. Kankaria Carnival 2023 kicked off in the western Indian city of Ahmedabad with a dazzling laser show. The show was part of the annual week-long festival at Kankaria Lake, with diverse events like fireworks, lighting shows and local celebrity performances featuring a laser show named Viksit Bharat Sankalp. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. To deregulate the South American country's economy, Argentina Congress to hold special session over economic reforms. Amid Christmas holidays and limited global queues, Asian markets keep flat, though India expected to open in green. India to play its first test in 5 months against South Africa at Centurion on Tuesday.
Year 2023 can best be described as an year filled with excitement, challenges and accomplishments in the world of sports, both for India and the world. All this and lots more in our special Sports at the Rate 2023 flashback in our program called Game Changers. Year 2023 can best be described as an year filled with excitement, challenges and accomplishments in the world of sports, both for India and the world. All this and lots more in our special Sports at the Rate 2023 flashback in our program called Game Changers.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour and I'm Preeti. Let's get to more international updates. In a first, a Hindu woman in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Buner district has filed her nomination papers for a general seat in the upcoming polls in Pakistan. Savira Prakash has officially submitted her nomination papers for the general seat of PK25 in Buner district. General elections are scheduled to be held in Pakistan on 8th February to elect the members of the 16th National Assembly. A member of the Hindu community, Prakash, is optimistic about contesting the election on a Pakistan People's Party ticket, following in the footsteps of her father, Om Prakash, a recently retired doctor. Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf party said that it will challenge the Election Commission's decision to declare its intra-party polls as unconstitutional and revoke the iconic cricket bat symbol in the Peshawar High Court. The Election Commission of Pakistan last week rejected the organizational election of Imran Khan's party and its plea to have a cricket bat as the electoral symbol for general elections. The Election Commission declared the party ineligible to obtain an election symbol to contest the upcoming general elections on February 8th next year. Let's get to some weather updates now, as China's capital Beijing has set a record for hours of sub-zero temperatures in December, dating back to 1951. The cold wave caused blizzards and temperatures to reach historic lows, with some areas hitting minus 40 degrees Celsius. Beijing has recorded over 300 hours of below freezing temperatures, the most for the month since 1951. The capital has also experienced 9 consecutive days of temperatures below minus 10 degrees Celsius. Also, there has been widespread flooding and deluge in Thailand's south after heavy rains, as more than knee-deep water accumulated everywhere, causing a lot of trouble in daily activities. Drone footage showed the damage caused by widespread flooding and how people and officials are dealing with that. A whiteout landscape was created in Grenfell, New South Wales, Australia on Christmas Day due to hailstones and heavy rainfall. Weather authorities reported large-sized hailstones over 5 centimeters falling in the same region. A resident reported damage to car windscreens and solar panels on his roof. Argentina will hold an emergency session of parliament beginning Tuesday to address a package of reforms by President Javier Milei. The special session from December 26th through January 31st is being held following a week of protests by labor unions, tenant groups and leftist organizations against the reforms contained in a presidential decree that needs an endorsement by legislators. Milei last week proposed more than 300 measures to deregulate the South American country's economy, including eliminating price controls and bureaucracy to help promote industrial activity. Bank of Japan governor has said that the spring labor management wage negotiations will be key towards realizing a 2% inflation rate. Addressing the Japan Business Federation on Monday, the governor said that Japan is emerging from the low inflation environment it has faced over the past 25 years. And it's gradually becoming more likely that a sustainable and stable 2% inflation rate can be attained, adding that the companies need to take active steps to achieve the objective of price stability. He indicated that the bank will consider a potential shift in policy, such as easing its negative interest rate policy after checking the wage hikes next year. Humane, a startup supported by Sam Altman, is gearing up to unveil the inaugural project since the company's establishment. The forthcoming release is the AI Pin, a distinctive wearable device embedded with artificial intelligence capabilities. Diverging from traditional consumer tech items, the AI Pin stands out with its display-free design. It rallies on voice and laser ink technology to effectively communicate information through an AI chatbot. In a recent disclosure, the company revealed that the product is slated for shipment to consumers beginning in March 2024. The AI Pin is a wearable device crafted to be clipped onto your clothing. It responds to touch, voice commands and hand gestures, with its main focus on tasks such as searching and translating information, navigation and other functionalities. Asian stocks held ground at Tuesday's opening, showing minimal movement amid limited global cues and a subdued global market scenario due to Christmas holiday closures. Japan's Nikkei was flat at 33,245, while Topix eased 0.1%. South Korea's Kospi was also flat at 2,600, and the Kosdaq index declined 0.25%. Markets in Hong Kong, Indonesia, Australia and New Zealand are closed for public holidays. The Indian equity market indices, which ended higher on Friday, opened on a positive note amid mixed global market cues and prevailing optimism of deep interest rate cuts. In the opening session on Tuesday, the Sensex rose by 35.16 points to reach 71,142, while the Nifty gained 2.85 points to trade at 21,352. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now to get you sports updates. We'll get you updates from the world of cricket first. India will play their first test in 5 months against South Africa at Centurion on Tuesday. Virat Kohli is back in the Indian squad, but lack of practice could be a concern for the team. Here's a preview of the match.
Team India is all set to face Team South Africa in 2-match test series that will take place in Centurion. The first test will be played on the Boxing Day, and in much relief for Team India, Virat Kohli is back in the squad. With sharp focus on 2025 WTC final, Team India is mentally moving away from the World Cup heartbreak and practicing hard to beat South Africa in their home ground. However, the head-to-head tells a different story between the two. In tests, South Africa leads the overall head-to-head record against India with 17 wins and 15 defeats in 42 matches. South Africa also recorded a 2-1 series win when both teams last clashed against each other 2 years ago. Whereas at home, South Africa have a stunning record against the Indian team with 12 wins in 23 test matches and have suffered only 4 defeats so far. India's last test win in South Africa came in during the Boxing Day clash in 2021 under Virat Kohli's captaincy. However, when we talk about Team South Africa's current form, then this South African side lack experience and quality with bat and ball, and their top 6 in particular can be brittle. They can also face late fitness tests for key fast bowlers Kagiso Rabada and Lungi Ngidi, who could be handful on what is expected to be a lively Centurion Park pitch in the first test. The man to be in the spotlight is outgoing batter Dean Elgar, who will be playing the last 2 tests of his career. He is one of only 3 South African batters with an average of more than 30. With Team India coming on the test field to play their first red ball game in 5 months, Rohit Sharma-led team will have a new challenge in front of themselves.
All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.